Hi everyone, my name is Jaela. I'm an interdisciplinary study major. I'm moving to be in computer science though. I play basketball for the team, so very likewise, I like to play basketball in my free time. I like to work out, I like to read, and I like to play video games. I also like understanding certain references, so I try to make sure that I'm not the person living under a rock and that I know what's going on in the world or anything like that. Brings me to my first point, though. I think the debate between Boston and Yardley is the most interesting to me. I wanted to be in the debate team in high school. I didn't have enough time for it. But I understand Yardley, but I agree with Boston more. I understand that the essential things that we learn about, like math and reading and science, it's not as essential as pop culture. I understand that and I agree with that. However, pop culture is something that literally influences how we think and how we talk, and it influences millions of us. So if we can understand each other and how we're all being connected to each other, then I think it should be worth something studying. That brings me to my second point, our advantages of pop culture. So, like I said, if we can all understand each other, a lot of humans, our deep root, we want to be understood. If we can understand why we're all the same, or why we all like certain trends, or watch certain movies, or listen to certain music, why our humor is the same. Our humor is the same compared to people, it's not the same as people back then. It's, our generation, though, it's sort of the same. If we can understand why our beliefs and values in fashion are, being influenced by the same thing, then I think it will help humans as a whole a lot. My personal connection would be with basketball. I like basketball. I think it's something that brings communities together, and I also think it influences fashion a lot. Today, people are wearing shorts that go three-fourths down. They stop right after your knees and like in between your ankles. And now I see everyone wearing it outside of the court. So I really like to see that fashion influence is being shown. And music, too. It influences basketball influences music all the time. Like we all listen to the same kind of stuff. It's really cool. I also like how people's favorite players and their favorite teams and their favorite sob story or underground story between players, it all depends on what background and what they come from. Certain people like, people who were born with a silver spoon, and some people like underdog stories like LeBron James, just depending on where they're from and their own experiences. So another thing that I know I need to talk about is the theory of cultural consciousness. At first, it sounded pretty confusing to me, but I think the story with the Grinch really helped. As you know, the Grinch didn't really. He was focused on his own perspective, but the Who's, they liked Christmas because it was something that, they got to celebrate with each other. So he learned, his idea of Christmas was completely different, and that to them it meant more than what he thought it meant. So I think that definitely shows that the theory is useful and it understands how it's being interpreted. It helps explain why, how do I put this? How people view the same thing completely differently, just based off their own background and their own experiences. And no way of thinking could necessarily be better, but it can always open up your mind and show you different things. So, yeah, this brings me to my question for the class. Do you think that social media brings people together through pop culture, or do you think it makes it harder for people to form their own opinions? Thank you guys for your time. I hope you have a great afternoon, and bye.